Good night, everyone. Can we please stand for our theme song? Come and fill homes with your presence. You alone are worthy of our reverence. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. Lord, we vow to live holy, bowing our knees to you only. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. Sing together, praying together, any storm we can weather, trusting in God's word. We need each other, fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers, in harmony and love. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord.
Good evening, everyone. The privilege is mine this evening to welcome each and every one of you. It is my delight to welcome one, welcome two. Welcome all of you to this parenting seminar display, where you learn about parenting in a whole new way. Our topic is close to our hearts: effective parents support striving children, is where we will start. Parenting is a journey that is never done. It takes love, patience, and a whole lot of fun. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. This we know. But we can learn, grow, and help our children glow. We're here to share, listen, and learn, to understand our children and to help them yearn for a life full of joy, success, and love, and be there for them when push comes to shove. Our experts are here with knowledge and skill to guide us through this journey with a firm goodwill. We'll learn about communication, discipline, and play, and how to create a home where our children can stay. Let's embrace this opportunity with our hearts and minds and leave here tonight with a new parenting find. We'll be the best we can be for our children's sake and see them strive and reach for their dreams without a break. So welcome once again. Let's begin this quest to be effective parents and give our children the best. Together we'll grow and our children will shine. Let's start this seminar and make it divine. Welcome one, welcome all to our Effective Parenting Support Thriving Children Seminar.
Good night, one more. Let us bow our heads. Pray. Our Lord and our God, we come before you. Thanking you, O God, for the blessings of the day. Speed life, mental strength, and incredible mercy. Thank you that we can be here tonight. And, O God, we ask as we go to tonight this evening that whatever is done, honor and glory to you, and a blessing to us, and that, O God, whatever we hear, we may apply to our lives and to our children, that we may have a better church and a better society. And we thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, let us turn in our Bibles to our devices as we turn to Ephesians 6, and I'll read 1 to 3 in your hearing. Yes, you can sit. You can sit. Okay, either turn or scroll. I believe we should have it now. Let me read in the hearing. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. This is the word of God. Amen.
Good night, everybody. I hope that you've had a good day. If you had a good day and you're happy and you know it, just wave your hand. Let me see you. All right, wonderful. We're so happy that you could be in the house this evening as we continue to share in the arena of parenting. And last evening we had another fantastic presentation, didn't we? As we discovered how our early childhood experiences impact our parenting styles. And, we learned so much about, is it dancing through the tulips? I can't remember the statement. Tiptoeing through the tulips, and we were also blessed, by the way that Dr. Josiah-Martin was able to endear us through her own personal experiences, which made it live and become very real for us. So I'm really looking forward to tonight's presentation once again, and just excited about what has been happening. We have had a lot of views on YouTube, as we mentioned. We wished more persons could be here physically, but we understand the times to which we have come, where persons generally want to look at things online. We want to say a special word of welcome to our Personal Ministries Director, Pastor K. White. Pastor White, it's a joy to have you here with us this evening. We're excited about you being present with us, and we look forward, and we know that you are going to be blessed again this evening. So tonight, fasten your seatbelts, get ready for another fantastic evening. I'm going to help Dr. Martin, Dr. Josiah-Martin this evening by inviting you to come to the first half of the church this evening. So those of you who are behind the aisle, she did indicate yesterday she really appreciates our presence up front so that she can interact. So I'm going to ask you just to make that shift for us. We'll be very, very appreciative. We know it's a little uncomfortable, but we have invited her all the way from Maine, and so we want her to be very comfortable. Also, we have with us Mrs. Moore, the treasurer of the South Leeward Conference. Mrs. Moore, we're also very grateful to have you with us. And Dr. Yulili Semper is here with us, our education director also of the South Leeward Conference. We are grateful for your presence tonight. Well, would you believe it? My eyes are not as good as they used to be. I actually have two pairs of glasses, one that allows me to see far and one that allows me to see near. Well, you wouldn't believe that I lost the one that allows me to see far. So I'm only seeing kind of near, and I'm not very good at it. So please forgive me if I've missed anybody else, but I believe that I've covered all of the persons who are present with us tonight. Welcome once again, and we are expecting to have another fantastic evening. For those of us who may be here for the very first time, or you may be viewing us for the first time on the SLC Church channel, we just want to introduce our presenter to you briefly. Dr. Judith Josiah-Martin has been at the University of Maine for the past 15 years as faculty and student life staff, and is the University of Maine 2021 recipient of the President's Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award. She studied at Smith College of Social Work, earning a PhD in Clinical Social Work, and Washington University in St. Louis, where she obtained her Master's in Social Work. She is an avid lover of all things related to the sea and to the ocean. She believes in being a solid reader. She loves to read. She loves all things beach, as I mentioned, and she loves to travel the world. Dr. Martin also enjoys a good conversation. And those of you who have dialogued with her would understand that. We're looking forward to what she will share with us this evening, and we are excited about her presence with us. And so just before she comes, I would like to just welcome the presence of our president, Dr. Carson Green, and his dear wife, Sister Michelle. They've just dropped by, and we're happy to have them with us this evening as they join and celebrate with us. Just before Dr. Martin speaks to us this evening, we're going to invite Dr. Hunt to come by and share with us an item of special music as we prepare our hearts for this evening's presentation. Dr. Hunt.
Good evening, everyone. God is good all the time. In our lives, we face a lot of circumstances, and we don't know how to handle them, especially with our families and parents and children. But God is able to smoothen the way when things look rough. Amen? So the song we're going to be blessed with is He'll Find a Way. At times the load is heavy. At times the road is long. When circumstances come your way and you think you can't go on, and you're feeling at your weakest, Jesus, He'll be strong. He'll provide an answer when you found all hope is gone. He'll find a way. Do I have believers here tonight? For I know that if He can paint the sunset and put the stars in place, I know that He can raise up mountains and calm the storm-tossed waves. He can conquer death forever to open heaven's gates. I know for you, he'll see you through, he'll find a way. How many of you believe that God will continually find a way tonight for you? Amen. At times your heart is breaking with a pain that's so intense. All you hold are broken pieces in a life that makes no sense. You see, he wants to pick you up and hold you, and to mend each torn event, he will pick up the pieces that you thought have all been spent. God will find a way. For I know that if he can make the sunset and put the stars in place, I know that he can raise up mountains and calm the storm-tossed waves. He can conquer death forever to open heaven's gate. I know for you, he'll see you through. For I know that if he can paint the sunset, hallelujah, put the stars in place, I know that he can raise up mountains and calm the storm-tossed waves. He can conquer death forever to open heaven's gates. I know for you, he'll see you through. Hallelujah, he'll find a way. I know, he'll find a way. He can conquer death forever to open heaven's gates. I know for you, he'll see you through. Hallelujah, he'll find a way. I know, my Jesus will find a way.
Good evening, everybody. Good to have you back with us this evening. God will indeed help us to find a way. There is no harder job than to be a parent. It is one of the most challenging jobs. I'm not a grandparent, so I'm looking forward to spoiling other people's children mercilessly as a payback. You know? But so this evening, I really want to focus on disciplinary strategies with children across the ages. And Sister Bell, you're with me? You're with me, Sister Bell? You're right. So happy to see you this evening. Because I want to, before I get into anything, I want to tell you that I'm talking about discipline and not punishment. Because there is a difference. Would you agree with me? No, you got to talk back to me. Okay? All right. There's a difference between punishment, which is just when the parents have lost their mind and they don't know what else to do. Right? But discipline, which I'm here to talk about, is how you train a child systematically from zero until. And if you use disciplinary strategies, you will seldom have to punish. Write it in your notes. I see you all not taking notes. Write it down somewhere. I'm going to repeat it. If you embark on disciplinary strategies from zero until they're no longer with you, you will seldom have to punish, because discipline is training, systematic training of a child. Okay? So what happens sometimes when there are gaps in the discipline, children are going to test the model. Remember we talked about the model last night. And so sometimes with these gaps, you have to now go over to the other side of punishment, and we're going to talk about that after a while. So I just want you to focus that what I'm talking about is the systematic development of a child through disciplined strategies. Yes, my brother. 0 until. I'm covering that with 0. Yes, I'm covering it. I'm covering that with 0. Because you're on the money with that one. Okay? So for me, all right, here we are. Okay. So I have put the age ranges by age. So I'm going to start off talking about 0 to 18 months. Because as you can imagine, a child 0 to 18 cannot be disciplined the same way as a child 18 to 5. And 5, so every level, you got to get more sophisticated with your disciplinary strategies. You with me? Okay. But all of what I'm talking about, I want to remind you that everything we do, whether it's discipline or punishment, must be grounded in love, trust, and compassion. If your punishment is to instill fear in the child, let me throw this at you. Fear is not of God. All of our discipline and punishment must be rooted in love, trust, and compassion. If it brings a child to fear and trembling, you've crossed the line into something else. You're all gone silent on me. It's okay, stay with me. Because in all of my discipline and whatever I do, I want to never break the bond of the relationship with the child. Because if we truly believe that what prevents or protects a child from mental illness, from problems that are going to come up in adult life, what protects the child is never having to doubt who they belong to, who loves them, and where is their safety net. Children, I have adults who have grown up with a lot of fear in the home and a lot of harshness become adults who always feel that they have to manage by themselves. They lose that connection to the other human being because of fear. And fear, when embedded in childhood, when fear is embedded in the human psyche in childhood, it turns into depression, anxiety, substance use, all kinds of things. Because fear is not of God. Okay? So let's look at 0 to 18 months. How many of you actually have children? Anybody out here has a, yeah, okay, go, oh, good, very good, very good. So 0 to 18 months, a point I made last night, no child is born bad. Okay? Children come out with biological issues, learning deficits, but when we're talking about character, children aren't born bad. Okay? So that's rule 1. So 0 to 18 months, your job is not too much discipline or punishment. So any parent that tells me that they spanked a 5-month-old is going to let me say to them, I'm going to sue you. Because the necessity of 0 to 1 is 100% nurturance. Your job as a parent is to encourage exploration, feed, rest, change, engineer for safety. In other words, all I want my 0 to 18 to do is every time they look at me, they're supposed to feel, ah. You with me? I need you to get this. Sister, Pastor White, come up here. See, they have to come close. And Brother Jonathan gone all the way back there, so I can't pick on him tonight. But he don't know that I'm coming for him. This is my baby girl, okay? Her brain is a clear slate. What has happened to her from the time she was in the womb, we poured in all kinds of health and nutrition and all. Even people are now saying you're supposed to read to the child in utero, play music. You know why? Because my doctor-to-be told you about it. Because in her developing limbic system that's in charge of her hormones, we want them to begin to be developed, and we want that serotonin to flow in her blood so that when she comes out into this alien planet called Earth, she's supposed to feel safe because she's still with me. You with me? When a child is in utero at 0 minus, they're 100% safe. They're the perfect temperature, food on demand, housing always there. They find no problems except you going out and doing things like you're drinking, doing drugs, you're not sleeping, you're not resting. But generally, they're in a cocoon. So when you drop them on planet Earth, you don't, if you watch sci-fi movies, it's what happens to a child. They come out, the first thing they do, they start to cry. Because what is this thing out here? So my job as a parent is to recreate 0 to 5 months. My job is to recreate on Earth what they had inside. So you can't be pinching them. You can't be delaying the bottle or the breast. You can't be letting them sit in wet diapers, because when they were inside, they didn't have that. You with me? And so when that baby 0 to 1 finds that nurturance on planet Earth, the psyche gets to feeling safe. So every time my darling looks at my face, she feels, she doesn't think. She feels safety. She feels belonged to. She's not a baby between 0 and a year, 12 months. She's not saying, oh, you know, this morning my mother is such a great thing. She just provided the right milk formula, blah, 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 blah. She has no language. What she's doing is pure sensory. So you have to hold them. So this thing about putting down babies when they're 1 month old and 2 months old and 3 months old is ridiculous. Because she's not ready yet for individuation and separation. You understand? If she so much as rush fast, by the time she's 6 months, she is recognizing other people. It's time to begin to say no. 6 months. And now I can just let her go a little bit. Remember, she can't walk. So I'm going to put her down, and I'm going to step away. And then what am I going to do? This is called discipline. Because when the child, I have eyes on the child, she knows so far and no further. So far and no further. Got my eyes on you. So far and no further. I don't have to hit her, because we are establishing that we are in a relationship that's governed by trust. So when you have a child, 6 months to 18 months, who is now being put down, and you go on to go do whatever, and you never look back, the child is watching your back, because the child is waiting for you to send the signal, watching you. When you never send the signal, what happens to the child? Planet Earth is becoming alien. So the child keeps watching. The child might even make a sound to try to get you to turn around. But you're so busy washing, cooking, cleaning, whatever it is you're doing, and you put the child in the playpen with the 4 walls around it, and you're gone for a good 20 minutes because you say the child is safe, and the child is waiting in fear that you won't come back. And that's the first sign of anxiety. So for parents who do it, they come back sometimes they don't come back. They're now disciplined by inconsistent methods. The child can't trust you. You with me so far, folks? And as early as 18 months, a child can learn not to trust. And we begin. How many of you had parents who didn't have to hit you? You're in church sitting around and you see mommy next start to turn. She hasn't even gotten your eye yet. But you just see the shoulder start to come and you straighten up one. She didn't have to hit you. Because long time you were disciplined for the cue. I got my eyes on you. Okay? By the way, let me put in my disclosure, I don't believe that you ever have hit a child to raise a very healthy child. But you got to start at 0 by making sure that they get the message and the look. It's not just the word, it must be the look. I'm still in 0 to 18 months. My problem with 0 to 18 months is also people tend to think that children are cute. I have an issue with the word cute. Because cute allows adults to do funny things like laugh when they should be serious. So you have and I step away or I come back, and this little 8-month, 9-month, 10-month, 12-month is sitting up. I hope I didn't blow anything. I blew something. But she's sitting up, and she's going to test the bond. All children must test. So I'm coming to her, and she does something like, the moment you smile and laugh, you have damaged the discipline. So I'm going to say immediately, I don't care how old she is, 6, 8 months, I'm not going to hit the child because hitting is not correct response. I can't take the same behavior that she shouldn't do and use that same behavior to discipline. You see how the mixed message don't work? If you can't hit me because it's wrong, I can't hit you. It's the same wrong. Don't mix up the messages. I'm coming around to all of you with the straps, with the big jimmies. So she hit in play, but she is going to get a no by my face and my body language and my voice. No. And I'm not smiling, eye contact, I'm going to get close, no. First time. And you want to hold the child straight on, make sure they get the message deep in the body. Okay? When you get the message, we're not smiling. Wait 5 minutes, and then life goes on. But you can't do no and turn around and then come back quick with a joke. You're ruining the lesson. You're ruining the lesson. And you're ruining the discipline. Right? I only have to do it. How many of you, your mommy had to just look more than once? Maybe by 3 times you got the word. And then one time, I'm here, and you never did it again. You tried to sneak it in church. How many of you tried to sneak a little whisper in church? And mommy clean at the front of the church, you at the back, and she heard the whisper. How is that possible? Because this is why it's possible. There is a neurochemical attachment between mothers and their children. Did you know that? Chemistry. Chemistry. We can say, if the bond between 0 and 18 months is true, we can sense our children because there's a psychic connection between us. God designed us this way. Seriously. It runs in us. How many of you have felt you don't see the child and you all of a sudden you feel something? And your brain says, call them right now. Okay, it's a psychic connection. And we can ruin it if we don't do the discipline correctly. All right? So in 0, so the foundation, so in 0 to 18 months, I am encouraging exploration, feeding, rest, engineering for safety, and I am also going to be encouraging, but always with eyes on. This is the other thing about disciplining these children, folks, is that they must always be in your eyesight. So I have a problem with parents who are dropping off children at other people's house before 18 months. Okay? But you have to guarantee that what you are setting as the template in the model is the exact same thing that is going to be at somebody else's house. You cannot allow the discipline to become inconsistent in this time. Hold off the sleepovers until a couple of developmental stages down the road. This is not the time. Now, some of you might have to have babysitters, but I'm always saying, if you're going to have a babysitter, make sure that you train the babysitter into your method of handling the child. Consistency is the game. All right, so we're going to use no, but we only use it 0 to 18 months when we mean it. We're setting formal boundaries, and we are redirecting all the time. All the time, Marva. When you have a child 0 to 18, you are never on a break. And I have an issue with parents who like to take breaks when the children are 0. You can't take a, this is not break time. You have 18 years before you get there. Okay? No, seriously. 0 to 18 months, eyes on, consistent, always there, never late, same word. The no must have the same tonal quality. So I can't just say, no, and then, no. It must have the same tonal quality for consistency. You also cannot reason with a 5-month-old who is pre-verbal. You know, hear me say, not touch it? What are you saying that to a 5-year-old for? I don't get that. I might say no to a 5-year-old who's about, or not a 5-year-old, I mean a 5-month-old. 6 months, 7, they're crawling. I might say no. Remember, I'm training what no means. I can't assume that the child knows what no means because they're just learning language. So when I say no, I pick up the object, not the child pick up the object. I'm training to learn the language. You with me? Different from a 5-year-old who knows what no means, and I expect them to pick it up themselves. Okay, so the punishment has to shift for the age. All right, so eyes on. Eyes on. So we have these functional. So again, withhold attention when we have an undesirable behavior. Lavish attention when engaged in desired behavior. 0 to 18 months, look for the child doing the thing that you want them to keep. Always bring it to their attention. So if a child is picky with eating and you notice that they just had broccoli, big up the broccoli right away, because we're training the brain. You with me? All right? If the child is doing something that is undesirable, crawling out of your sight, immediately bring that no in so that they come right back. Don't delay. All right? Very important. This is all discipline. So I'm going to now go to 18 months to 4 years. And what do I want my discipline to bring out? Self-confidence, honesty, respect, sense of belonging, and self-esteem. That's what my discipline is supposed to do between 5 and 11. It's the time where every direction is about setting a boundary. I'm going to explain first and then tell you what to do. I'm going to model the emotions and the language. I'm going to make sure that all the consequences are clear and distinct. All right, let's talk about that. What's a good consequence for, let me back it up. So a 2-year-old is a narcissistic person. What does that mean? They're self-absorbed, and they need to be, right? They need to be. A 2-year-old has just come out of 0 to 18, where everything was cushy, and they're now walking. They got about 500 words that they fully understand. And at 2, they're going to now practice all those words. And they're going to practice all those behaviors because now they want to step away a little further from you. Right? Now your no is more than just no. Your no now has to have a consequence. We tend to let our 2-year-olds go away and try us too long before we put the consequence. And so we're going to get into the temper tantrums. Okay? Remember, they're narcissists. Remember I said they're supposed to have that cocooning. And now all of a sudden, they're no longer your doo-doo darlings. Now they have to go pick up their toys when they're accustomed to you being more of a helper. They don't like this. They're accustomed to you preparing all the foods, you know, all of that, and now you have to tell them, sit down and eat and pick up the fork. They're getting ready to throw it at you. But if you were doing strategy, by the time that child got to be off of a bottle or a breast, you would have already been experimenting before meal times with them how to handle the fork, how to handle the food. We're doing it in play. So by the time we get to eating meals, they should have some hand-to-mouth skill. You with me? All right? My husband always said to me, I come from the old school, Alpha and Olive. If you didn't eat, and my sister, I used to be so sorry for her. She hated food. And Allie will sit with her jaws packed full like she had mumps, full because she wouldn't swallow. And Mommy would have the ruler on the dining room table. Allie have her mouth full and she wouldn't swallow. And Mommy would count. If I count to 5, the food going down 1 time with 1 blow. And what happened is that my sister became afraid of eating and developed a phobia about food because it was associated with punishment. And for years, she had a problem with eating. Because the blow and the food, and what we did not know, years later we found out she had swallowing muscle problems. You see? And it took a long time for all of that to be resolved. And then so she came out of childhood with a very strange relationship towards food. Now, my husband said to me, from the time the kids got out of baby food, he says, put it in front of them. When they're hungry, they will eat. Do not create drama around food. And I was just like, but I cook. The child have to eat. He says, one thing children will not do is allow themselves to starve to death. And it never dawned on me, a child will never starve themselves to death. He says, it's a power play. Don't engage it. So we have dinner time, part of discipline. Dinner time is at 6 p.m. Everybody sits at the table. Grace is said, time to eat. When we finish eating, and they still say, Tom will say, you have 20 minutes, and we're done. If they don't eat, he just goes in, picks up the plate, carries it in the kitchen, scrapes it in the trash, and he says, bath time. It only happened twice. It only happened twice because those kids got the message. No blows were passed. And he had a way of reasoning. He said, if you're hungry, food is on the table, eat it. We have an hour for dinner. We're teaching them time. Watch the clock. Mom and Dad are going to be up from the table at 7. Have you seen Nikki and Lauren lately? They have survived. We had no drama. We always had fun at meal times. Discipline. Because part of what we want to have happen is that when we set consequences, they must be consistent, but they must also appeal to the reason of the child. Children must be taught to think. Another disciplinary strategy for 5 to 11 is use breaks as positive ways to calm emotional situations and encourage accountability. Folks, kids can do chores as early as 2. Let me come closer to say it to you. A child can be taught to be accountable for themselves as early as 2. Once a child can walk and talk, they can do something for themselves. It builds self-esteem. Do I mean go do laundry and wash dishes? So what am I talking about a 2 to 5-year-old? Thank you. So now, discipline says, I don't say to the child, Marva, go pick up your toys. Remember, Marva just come from the cocoon over there and, pick up the toys. What am I going to do? Marva? You see how you have discipline? Marva? Whose purse is that? Don't say it's yours. Whose is that?
Mine.
Yours? Mm-hmm. Were you playing with it?
Yes.
Good, good. Did you like playing with it?
Yes.
Yes, who?
Yes, Mom.
Okay. So could you pick up your toy and put it over there next to that book right there for me, please?
Okay, Mom.
Look how you did that so nicely. That is very well done. Let's try that again. Let's put that back over here. So every time you play with this toy, could you pick this up and put it over there when you're finished?
Yes, Mom.
You're such a good girl. Thank you. You're working with me? You don't have a break. When we're between 0 and 5, you must always be looking for these opportunities to do the discipline. So when a month later and I see the toy over there by the piano, Marva, whose toy is that over there by the piano? Your response is, mine, Mom. Marva, you finished playing with the toy? Please pick it up and put it back. I've already set the model. I don't need to explain. We're not having an argument. And my face very set. Because it shouldn't be there in the first place. So this is not a time for a joke. The discipline is continuous. Now, what if Marva has a little bit of a willfulness? Because Jonathan is her father. I told you I was coming for you. Okay? She just got a little of that thing there. So she's coming to get the toy, but I notice she has a facial expression. I immediately going to interrupt going for the toy. Marva, might I have a word with you? What are you thinking right now as you're going to get it? I don't want, excuse me? Let's sit and have a talk. Let's just hold off on the toy. We're going to reason. Because I am teaching. You with me, people? We have to, you can't let the opportunity for discipline pass you by. Parents, you're not on vacation. You went and tiptoed through the tulips with somebody. You're on duty 24/7 until. The problem why we need to go to punishment, the reason why I'm going to need to hit Marva is because somewhere between this training, I took a vacation and Marva got away with thinking that she could do a little power play. I missed the cue and now she's giving me attitude. It's not her fault, it's my fault. I took my eyes off of my child. Remember my first slide? Eyes on. My eyes on is not just to say I'm watching. My eyes on is so I'm reading and learning my child. You all are with me? You all want to send back the children because it's too much work now? All right. So the 2 to 4 year old, the primary thing that we want for 2 to 4 now is industry. We want this child to be doing the chores regularly. People, stay with me when I say consistently. You can't see the toy over here and Marva over there, and today you let it pass, and tomorrow you're bawling out the child. It doesn't work. You with me, Sister Green? It doesn't work. Every time you see the toy over here and Marva is finished playing and she's over there, you have to call her attention to it. That's called consistent parenting. Because if she gets away with it today and she gets away with it tomorrow and then the next day you're getting ready to fire blows, the child is confused. Make up your mind. You've disrupted the discipline. Now you have to do something else. You with me? Okay. So in this 3, 4, 5, I'm encouraging now not just consequences and behavioral responses and accountability, but I also want to create opportunities for children to explore and get back to me. So they're going to go outside and play, but where are my eyes? Thank you very much. We're now raising children in this society where we have them doing things and we have no eyes on. Child can't be watching TV without you having eyes on. Child can't be on devices without you having eyes on. Not in this developmental period. Because your job is to explain the content, censor the content. You with me? So how is it that I can watch it? I videotaped a child, two children, a 2-year-old little girl and a 5-year-old little boy in the airport. 20 minutes I timed them. The little girl had on headphones and a screen in front of her. And for 20 minutes, she did not move. She didn't even look up. The little boy had in his headphones on a screen. And I am looking around this airport trying to figure out where the parents. They were nowhere. They put the children down. They were like little robots. Then the little girl, her screen went blank. She looked up and she looked around. She didn't see anybody that she was with. And that child went to screaming. And from somewhere, I see a lady running. She was in a different, what do you call that, concourse? She was away from the child. And I said to myself, when she arrived at the child looked at her, pointed to the screen. She didn't talk to her. She just pointed to the screen. The mother did something to the screen and then walked away from the child. And I'm like, blow me over. Because I see a child, stay with me, who is learning that when you want attention, scream at people. You with me? Furthermore, when they do what you want them to do, you don't even need to say thank you. Because you're in charge. 2. It's dangerous, right? So we're really wanting to create opportunities, yes, for separation and individuation for over 4 and getting into 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We want them to have areas of exploitation, but they still have to be monitored. They still have to be redirected. By the time they're 5, they're ready for school. They get into school, they're supposed to have certain skills down. Ability to take care of themselves independently. If a child is going to be ready for school, 5 or 6, that they could sit at a desk, take care of themselves, eat their lunch, and obey a teacher, all of that had to be taught 0 to 4. You with me? If you didn't do it 0 to 4, it is not. Write it down, bank it, I said it. It is not going to happen from 5 to 11. They're going to give their teachers what for. And the teachers are going to get frustrated because the teachers have no idea about the disciplinary strategies you have. Now they're getting ready to go hit your child. You with me? And let me tell you, the teacher's job, yes, it's to teach. Yes, it's to model. Yes, it's to nurture. And unfortunately, teachers are parenting children who are getting no parenting at home. So the challenge is hard because the teacher is trying to do discipline without punishment in the classroom, and the child is going home, and for some of them, getting away with murder. So all your work in the classroom is being erased by what happens at home. You see now how children are now psychologically confused. You with me? We have a lot of responsibility. So at 7, 8, and 9, their job now is to learn. But in order for a child to learn, they must be disciplined within their own self. Which means they must be able to sit still for a period of time. What if at home, from the time they wake up to the time they go, they're running around all day long? You don't give them any breaks for quiet time. By the way, quiet time is discipline. Every child should be stopped every 2 to 3 hours between the ages of 0 to 11. Every child should be given quiet time. Discipline. Okay? It's important. All right. So we're into 12 to 18. These people think they're big. These people think that they know everything and mommy and daddy never, we all know nothing from nothing. So their questions, their questions are, who am I? Where do I fit in? How should I feel? So the disciplinary strategies are difficult during this stage because they are all about testing the limits. Let me tell you something. They're supposed to test the limits. They're supposed to, because that's when we begin to develop individuality. So by the time the child gets to 11, mommy should not be telling a child what to put on, except that it's inappropriate. What do I mean by that? You see, you should have been testing, stay with me here. You should have been training the child about good clothing choices from 2. You with me? So when we go shopping, and I say to my 2-year-old, what do you think about this? And by the way, we should never give children under the age of 11 more than 2 choices of anything. In this capitalistic world that we live in, children have lots of choices. It is not good for the developmental psyche of a child to have more than 2 choices. They either eating broccoli or corn. Pick one. We're not going to fight about broccoli, corn, beets, tomato, and cucumbers. 2. Equally with clothes. I picked this one because, and I'm training, this is discipline, I'm training my child. I picked this color for you because it goes with your skin tone. It's the right side, your legs are short, so you can't wear. I am educating all the time. So by the time my kid is now 7, 8, the model is inside. So I say, go pick out either the green dress or the blue dress, your choice. By the way, why you have something in the closet that they can't wear? You see what I'm saying by that? So I don't care which 2, because I don't have anything in my closet that's inappropriate. You with me? So if you say to a child, I'm coming to my daughter, pick out this shoe and this shoe, and she decides she wants that shoe, I am going to give her, no, this shoe or this shoe, your choice, and I'm done. I don't have to hit her, Jonathan. As a matter of fact, if she gives me any trouble about that shoe is going to be in the garbage, because we're only talking about this shoe and this shoe. That shoe does not exist. You with me? But we play with children. Oh, mommy, and they start to whine. If you give in to the whine, you're dead. You ruin the whole discipline. Because you just told the child, whine a little bit, push up your face a little bit, mommy going to give in. We have 2 choices, this one and this one. Shireen, you with me? So go home tonight and just inventory your house. If you have things in there that should not be choices for children, put them in the garbage bag, either throw them away or box them up until you're ready for them sometime in the future. Stop confusing the children. And so what happens is now you start bawling at the children, you start cussing the children, throwing words at the children, but you're the one created the confusion. Okay? So in my 12 to 18-year-olds, Mark, I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you. I am coming with you. I'm remembering that with my 12 to 18-year-olds, Respect is not asked for, it's earned. I don't tell my children, you have to respect me. Excuse you, they should know by now. By the time my children are 5, they should know that we deal with respect. We don't have to have a conversation. When you are debating with a 12 to 18-year-old about them respecting you because you lost the battle. So let's talk about this developmental age and respect. Because we're using consequences. What is respect, by the way? What is respect? Kenny, what's respect? She gone to the head of the class, right? She just speed. See, Marva is my daughter. She's a thinker. Okay, mutual understanding. In order to have mutual understanding with your children, discipline, you have to be having communication. You with me? We have to have a give and take. So the child says, Mom, so and so and so and so, and I know that that's not the best decision. I'm going to say, let's have a conversation. I'm not going to say, you're so stupid. Anything could go so? You understand who started the disrespect? Oh. And I put the disrespect into language. And I'm looking straight in your face and disrespecting you. And you are trying to tell me that after disrespecting your children consistently, they're supposed to become adults who respect you. I'm trying to figure out how we get those, how 1 + 1 going to equal 2. I'm hearing people say, I'm gonna cut off your head as I bring you here, and your face look up, and you're, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Joan, what are they doing? What are they doing, Sister Scholar? Putting disrespect and attaching it to fear and anger. What happens when you get fear and anger into a child? They're going to become defensive. Now, because they're afraid of you, they're going to hide the defense on the inside. It now becomes secret resentment. When they get to 16, they're going to throw it at you. My little girl. Let's just have a conversation. She's in love.
Amen. Come on.
Who are you in love with, dearest? It's okay, don't tell me. We're going to have a conversation. You know what love is? No, you don't. It's okay. Do you know what love entails?
No, Mommy.
You sure?
No, not yet.
Not yet? So how you get to be in love if you don't know what it entails? You see, you have to have a mutual understanding. I am not going to say, with that hard-back person, with that dry-foot boy, you can't be disrespecting the people and them friend. Because the issue is not the boy. Remember, I'm about discipline, not punishment. So I'm not going to cuss the boy as a way to try to get the girl to not love the boy. That is foolish discipline. Yes, okay. It's foolish discipline. What about the person? Tell me.
He's nice.
What kind of nice?
Nice to me.
Like what? Like what do you mean nice to you? What he does that's nice? Break it down for me. I don't understand nice.
She is his lunch.
She is his lunch? Let's have a conversation. I didn't give you lunch today? I have what? Eyes on. What lunch you sharing? Mark you. I am not saying What bleep bleep lunch you're talking about? Me no want you not to take people food. None of that. Cut it out. That's disrespectful talking. Did I not give you lunch? Because it's not about the boy. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about the boy. It's my child. My child made a decision to take lunch from somebody. So it's not about the somebody. Shireen, you with me? But she is 12 and 13. By the way, the book says 12 and 13, they're supposed to fall in love. Why are you all vexing up yourselves about? I don't get this. By 12, 13, 14, oh, they can't sleep, they can't eat. And mommy, you don't understand. Like what we do, we just get up one day, tiptoe to the tulips. I don't know. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, because each child is different. They're supposed to like somebody. Stop chewing up the people. Who are his parents? Discipline, not punishment. So who he belonged to?
The pastor's son.
Which pastor? Which pastor? But which pastor?
He's the president.
Clearly, I have educated my child well. However, we're not a family that trips on titles. So what the parents like, that's what they do. What are they like?
They're very nice. Though.
What name so? Nice.
They're kind.
Kind? How you know that they're kind? What did they do that makes you think they're kind? You see what I'm saying? I am trying to have, Marva, what was the word? You're true for me. What kind of mutual understanding? Because she says they're nice and kind don't mean that it's the same word that I use. Remember, I'm disciplined. I am training my child. They say, but that is not what we call kind. Let me tell you what kind looks like between somebody who loves somebody. Did you ever think about that?
No, mommy.
Okay. So we might have to pick somebody else, okay? Yes. But we will invite him for lunch. Eyes on Shireen. My date and later pick all kind of people. I invite all of them to my house. Every single one. Sometimes Tom and I were just like, oh. But we're not sending them nowhere. We're bringing them here. It's called discipline. And then we break it down. So that young man that was here for lunch last, let me just have a little conversation. You understand what I'm saying? 15, 16, 17. By the time they get this, thank you so much, Dad. Mark giving me all kind of clock over here. I'm about, let me see how I'm going here. So I'm getting there, Mark, because I want to get some questions. So I have a warning for you. One of my warnings for 12 to 18 is that we've got to stay away from threatening our children. Okay? Threatening children is not discipline. One last time. Jonathan, would you so kindly? Please. He was good last night. I have to use him again tonight. This is our baby girl now. She looked very nice. Plenty of people like her. Right? And she getting a little feeling like she's very nice herself. Self-esteem is blooming nicely. We're very proud. Very proud. Oh, a little girl is becoming sick. But she went and picked Mark's son. And we really don't like that. Because they have some kind of spurious doctrine going on over at their house. Stay with me. So she insists that she going by the Bratwits to go visit their son. We already tell her she's not leaving the house today. Y'all with me so far? Okay. Remember, she's now 16, 17, 18, which is the developmental age of separation and individuation. I'm in the textbook now, which means they're supposed to want to step away from our umbrella and think they can make decisions by themselves. Because it's like we didn't tiptoe to the tulips and her arrive, right? So okay, you with me? You with me? Okay. So now we have to go deal with her. It doesn't change people. Can I just hold it? Don't go anywhere. Come here. Come here. We have something to say to you. We put it. You with me? Thank you. When a child is in the developmental stage of separation and individuation, and you're using intimidation and threat, you know what they're going to do? They're going to get into a defensive posture when we turn our backs, when we go on from our bullying behavior, because we are no longer the most important things in their lives. Their friends are. Because we're in a different developmental stage. So you can throw all the word, throw your fist, whatever. If they don't want to die, all they're going to do is get quiet and sneak out your window. You with me? So we're not going to do that in our home. We're going to say, family time, time to talk. You with me? We're going to have a conversation. You all with me? If you use fear and intimidation, church, I'm going to say it one more time. Fear is not of God. I don't care how you justify it. The Bible tells us fear is not of God. So if you're using fear as a disciplinary strategy, some counter-narrative is going to happen within the child. Now it's time for questions. Ask me a question. Ask me a question. Yes, go ahead. Zero to 18 months. The mother is 18 years old. We're in rough streets. Rough streets. You regret the day you sat on this front pew tonight. Shireen, for me, please. What did I say about my 18-year-old? Still in a developmental process herself. I am still parenting my 18-year-old. Still training. Still teaching. Still nurturing. right? She's not quite ready yet. So in a way, she's still actually in childhood. But now she has a child, so she now needs to step away from her childhood to become a parent. You with me? Of this child. She has to work because whoever she tiptoes through the tulips, gone about their business. Not interested, not claiming, whatever the reason is. But she is my child. And I gave her something, so she has some idea of a model to use. You with me? Pastor, she has some idea. She's not ready, but she has an idea. Now, she has to put this child in their daycare center because she doesn't have a choice. God is wonderful. You put some praying on this child, God will cover this child. There's hope for all of you, all the parents out there who didn't come through on a perfect trajectory. God is able. He's able. So now, what I'm wanting, Pastor, is for this mom, before she puts this child in their daycare, she goes over and has a conversation with those people. And she says to Mr. Josiah, I'm a single mother, I have to work, this is the bedtime, this is the plate. She gives them how she disciplines the child. Right? So she, and furthermore, as her friend, I'm wanting to support that she picks the right place for this child. It's not perfect, but it's the best that we can do. So we're going to put her with the Josiahs, and guess what? She's trying to work 2 jobs, but her friend Marva, she's going to say, Marva, just put an eye over there when you pass by. So her eyes can't be on, but her friend has eyes on. You see what I'm saying? Takes a village when it's just you one. So we need to encourage our single parents to have a village that they trust. And that's where church comes in. So this baby is at their place. They're charging $300 for every half hour she's late. She doesn't have that kind of money. She calls Sister Marva, could you pick up the baby for me? Sister Marva say, well, you know, I have a fete to go to tonight, and I can't really. That's not the kind of eyes on we want. Next thing you know, baby gone fete. By the way, I am dead on smoke. I've had clients who asked a friend to pick up their child, and their child, 10 o'clock in the night, they still can't find the child because the child with the friend, wherever the friend is. What I'm saying, all of that destroys the discipline. So church, be the village for our single parents. Pastor, did I answer the question? Are there any other questions about this scenario? Now let me tell you something else. She is a single parent working 2 jobs. Go back to what I said, 0 to 5. Who is going to give this child the exploration opportunities? Who is going to make sure that this child is eating on time, sleeping on time when mom is holding down 2 jobs? That's the village. Yes. I'm going to say something that's going to sound really jarring. If you have a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old who is having a child, the discipline broke down somewhere. I'm putting it right out there. You took your eyes off too early. You with me? So now you're going to have to play catch up. And usually, I see you, Pastor, usually the 13 or 14-year-old who is having the baby has a parent who has been absent long time, or a parent who is busy doing something else. You with me? So it's not just her having the baby. It also says to me that something in the watch is missing. So now she comes to counseling with Pastor Brathwaite. Pastor Brathwaite has 2 jobs, not one. He has to help her grow up and then train her how to be a parent. 2 jobs. They're not one and the same thing. 2 completely different. And unfortunately, in the church system, we tend to only try to help the parent be a parent when we forget she can never be a parent unless she first becomes an adult. She has to go through all the developmental tracks for herself. So somebody's got to nurture her up so she can do right by that child.
So who's nurturing the baby in the meantime?
That's your job.
The mother. Church. No, the mother. She dropped the ball.
You're talking about the grandmother.
That's the one to talk. The 14-year-old.
But what if, and I'm going to throw it back at you, this 14-year-old, and I'm going to talk from my experience, this 14-year-old that's having a child has a parent who had a child at 15, has a grandparent who had a child at 15. They've been dropping the generational ball. So if the church baptizes this child, it's on the church to change the trajectory for the family. Therefore, you got to wrap her in love and her in love. You got to have eyes on here and eyes on here. You got to house and train here and house and train here. It ain't easy. That's the job. That's how you're going to break the cycle. If you don't do it, it's going to repeat. Pastor at the back. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you.
On the aspect of the 2 parents. I've observed when you mention parent, one may think it's me, so to speak, as a parent. But sometimes the parents are on 2 different wavelengths when it comes to discipline. One has a plan, the other has a different plan. One doesn't believe in discipline, the other believes in discipline. One does, the other undo, maybe behind the back, even though you agree up front. So I don't know if you covered it before, but my question is, how do you address the parents? Because before the discipline of the child, the parents must have an idea how to work together. So how do you address it if they're not on the same page?
Did you marry them?
If I marry them, or if I marry her. It could be me and my wife.
Did you bring them together?
As a couple?
As the pastor I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm laying the responsibility all over the place right now. Okay? Mark, pastors, in this premarital counseling you're all doing, you better be doing some parenting counseling too. Pastor, give me a break. I'll come into the question. I just needed to say that before I forgot it.
Yes.
Remember what we talked about last night about the model? What happens to us before we become parents? We need to train our girl children not to marry people who come from models that don't synchronize with them. I'm saying it loud and I'm saying it plain. You with me? Because if this child comes from a secure attachment home, where she's got the discipline, she has all of that, and she goes and pick up Mr. Josiah over here, who comes from a dismissive, neglectful family where they set no boundaries, their children are messed up. Particularly if she can talk plenty because she comes from Judy Martin's house. But he come from somebody else where they don't talk and keep plenty secrets. She trying to have communication with them about how they're supposed to do the family. He don't want to talk about nothing. So she running her mouth and the poor children just sitting there staring at the two of them like, what are we into? And what happens is that when the parents cannot come together, eyes off child. Or one parent becomes a super parent, which is very destructive. You with me, Pastor? So first of all, when you're doing your premarital counseling, make sure they come from the same model. Or train them to recognize the model so we can make up. But I'm still coming. Even if you come from two different models, you can still have and train them how to create a new way together so that we can have a, but it takes work to do that. And the couple has to be open to guidance. If they're not, I can't help you. That's just my truth. And I've had them come in to me and say, she's too rough on the children. And I said, but before you tell me about her, what's your job with the children? What's your philosophy? So you have two different philosophies. Let's come to a mutual understanding, Marva. What would work for both of us? We have to have that conversation outside of the children so that when we come to the children, we come as a united front. If you split in the relationship as parents, you're going to create children who can do the power play and play off of each other and manipulate the heck out of this system. We have already damaged the discipline. You with me? So now you need to hire Judy Martin, who is very expensive for family counseling, to bring it together. I'm not joking. You need help. Pastor, talk to me. Pastor Brown has something to say. But Pastor Knowles, what do you think of my response?
I think it's a very good response, because if we do not have some measure of planning together as parents, we create a sense of chaos to the children. And we can't make success that way.
You can't. And listen, by the way, Pastor Knowles, that chaos may play out at home, but it's going to play out at school.
Okay, quickly,
I got to wrap it up.
Grandparents.
Pastor Bradford is giving me all kind of signal here.
Okay, I'm speaking to the grandparents section.
Yes.
The grandparents are good parents for me, but they're not good parents for my child. How do we fix the problem that will occur because of that?
Listen, if you recognize that the grandparents messed up with you, what are you doing having your grandparents taking care of the children? I don't get that. Or, I'm going to really mash it up now, or I'm going to go back to something I said last night. When Data and Leda, who are my children, went to Villa after school, my mom always used to say, they talk too much, ask too much questions, blah, 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 blah. And she started what she did with us, which is they come home from school, take off the uniform, go outside, and she locked the door. I said, hello, 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 hello. We're not doing that no more. Because I don't want my children ever to think that they don't belong in this house. I don't want them to ever think that they're begging favor to be in this house. Your job is to keep them safe, nurtured, and loved all the time that you have them. We had to have words, me and the grandmother. Pastor Brown, And I said, if you can't do that, Mom, I will get Mark to take care of the children. With all due respect. You all think I'm not making joke. Or some of you don't have a choice. You have to leave the children and the grandparents because you can't afford anything else. What I say is when the kids come home, deprogram them. You know your grandmother, she's very old school. Let us go and have a little prayer over the grandmother so that you can forgive her for all the things that she said. I am serious. I deprogram. And I say to the children, we did not have somebody else to pick you up. We don't have somebody else. It's the best that we can do for now. You with me? So the kids know and have an intellectual reason for why they're there. You with me? Pastor Brown, are you with me? I'm just going to mash up the whole church right now, Sister Brown, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you want your children to come out in a model and you trust the model that you're using, don't let anybody divert you. Kin, blood, nobody. Okay? My grandmother could throw a slipper round a corner and still hit you in your back. I never asked my grandmother to babysit my children ever. Because up until my aunties were big people, mother was still throwing stuff. Not to my children. Loved my grandmother to death. But she never thought that that was wrong. Not my children. With all good respect to my grandmother. God didn't give your grandmother your children. He gave you your children. The responsibility is yours. Stop fighting with grandparents. If they have to babysit, you're going to have to step back. Because the thing I do not want, church, listen to me. I do not want to see parents and grandparents fighting in the presence of the child. That is very destructive. So if you have to send them to the grandparents, bite your tongue and keep it going. Brother Joseph, you had a question and then I'll see you. Mark, I'm stopping. This is the last one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, from my observation, grandparents become better parents than what they were when they were parents.
After all.
In most cases. So I just wanted to say that for the record.
Yes.
And then when you make some of the contributions, I think they have merit, but how do you reconcile them with the concept of it takes a village to raise a child?
I absolutely believe it takes a village.
Okay.
Absolutely. There is no perfect parent on this planet. We're all born in sin, shaped in iniquity. We're all going to make mistakes. So we need backup. Pick your village. Don't let your village happen accidentally. I picked my village for my kids. Worked perfectly. Interview your friends. Because they're your friends don't mean they're going to be good friends for your children. Be selective. It's all a part of the discipline model. Yes, brother. Yes. The mic. She has it right there. Yes.
Right. So we're just saying, going back a little bit in terms of the having your grandparents take care of the children. The model that you said, one of the things I was thinking is that you can also enforce the point that, especially when your children, they're having children, you have to enforce the point that, look, they are your children. They are not your grandparents' children.
Yes.
So that helps you to create a mindset that you do not need or have your grandparents take care of your children. It is first your responsibility.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed. Yes. Your question? Oh, yes. Yeah. You want to say something? But of course.
Yes, Mommy. Yeah, what do you do when a child throws a tantrum in public? You're in the supermarket, I mean, that's common. In the supermarket, you're in church, and the child is just out of control.
There is no child having no tantrum and getting away with it. We have to have a word. I see people having kids with tantrums. And I've seen several responses. One, child having a tantrum, parent looks away, walks off, leave the child having a tantrum. That could be an effective strategy. I'm coming back to that. Because we don't want to reward bad behavior by giving it attention. Because sometimes the discipline failed back then, you gave attention when you should not have been given attention. Now the child is testing you at 4 and 5 by throwing a temper tantrum in the supermarket. And now, because you never did it before, you now need to do it. And I've seen people do that, and it could be very effective. However, if you're accustomed to being neglectful and dismissive, this child is doing what you train them to do. I want what I want when I want it. Because you didn't do any internal regulation. Shireen is having a temper tantrum after all the good parenting that she's got. We're about to stop and pay attention. What is wrong with you? What is happening? What are you feeling?
I want candy.
What candy?
Candy in the shelf.
No, let's go in the parking lot. I look like I laugh it? We have to have a word. I'm not throwing no licks on no child. We're going to have a word. Shireen?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm here to do grocery shopping.
Okay, Mommy.
Candy's not on the list this time.
I can't just have one?
No, not this time. You know, we don't eat candy after 5 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 o'clock right now. But I tell you what, sometime soon, we shall negotiate a little candy eating, okay?
Okay, Mommy.
You think you could handle it?
Yeah.
You sure? Are you tired?
No, I'm okay, Mommy.
You're hungry?
No, Mommy.
You're sure about this? Because we're going back in the grocery store.
I'm good.
You're sure about that?
Yes, Mommy.
Let me reason with you. If you throw another tantrum in the grocery store, I have to make it plain. You can't just resolve the issue without telling what is to come next. We're going back in, I promise it's only 15 more minutes. But if we go back and you feel like crying, we're going to have a problem.
Okay, Mommy.
We're going to have to go home immediately.
Okay, Mommy.
Okay. You understand?
Yes, Mommy.
What does going home immediately mean?
Something else?
Yes. Okay. Did we have a meeting of the minds? Now let me tell you something. If we go back in the store and she throws a temper tantrum, it's immediate. We're going out of the store and we're going to have to deal with this situation. Because I gave my word. I set the boundary. I have to be consistent. Preschool teacher, yes. Yes. Here, use my mic. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. I'm a preschool teacher from age 2 to 5. Now, temper tantrum is one of the biggest things that we have to deal with at the school. I understand parent and child, but what about teacher and child? We have that as well. And a lot of points that you make, we have that as well. Everything that you said is going on at the school. Now I am trying to be the parent, the psychologist, the teacher, the doctor, and something else. I can't remember the other.
You asked for the job. And you're going to get, yes, and you're going to get some children who have neglectful and dismissive parents who didn't even give them breakfast. So the body is already dysregulated because they're starving. And if the child is dysregulated because they're hungry and starving, they're going to have emotional reactions to hunger and starving. They're going to act out. So unfortunately, teachers, you need to feed them if you want them to behave right. I know you do. Yes, because they come hungry all the time. But what happens to the teachers who recognize that the child is hungry, biologically dysregulated, and you're still telling the child to sit still and listen? How is that going to work? It can't work. That's why we need food programs at school. And we need to stop asking our teachers to cheat, to feed children. Schools need to feed children because children are hungry. You have dismissive parents who are putting candy in the lunch kit, corn kernels, and all empty calories that do nothing for the biology of the child who has to sit still for 6 hours. I'm talking about discipline. Food is also discipline. Nutrition is discipline. Mark, I'm done talking now. Thank you so much, church. Thank you so much.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? Fantastic. We could really stay here for another hour, but we can't really stay here for another hour, if you know what I mean. But I want to say a special thank you, but we're going to do that in just a moment. We continue tomorrow evening, but online for Antigua. Tomorrow, Dr. Martin, josiah-martin, myself, and her husband, Josiah-Martin, and her husband and myself will be traveling over to St. Kitts. We'll be at the Molyneux Seventh-day Adventist Church, and we will be streaming back to Antigua. All right, everyone? So your pastors and family life leaders will have the link. If you haven't got it, reach out to either your pastor or your family life leader. You will be able to follow the next 2 presentations online via the SLC church channel, and that's tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, 15th and 16th. Those will be the final 2 presentations, all right? We want to say to all of you who have come out here for the last 3 nights, we've had just about over 50 persons nightly. We want to thank you for being here every night. Put your hands together for yourselves. Thank you so very much for coming. We really appreciated it. And on my last check, on the YouTube channel, we've had over 400 hits on a daily basis, all right? So we want to thank God for all of the YouTube people who have been watching online. Also, we are extremely happy that you're able to benefit. Just quickly want to say some thanks to the SLC administration, and all of the administrators are here tonight. Thank you, Dr. Nose, Mrs. Moore, and Dr. Green. We are so grateful for your presence this evening. Very, very happy that you could be here. Along with the pastors who are here, Pastor Brown, I saw, and was there another one? Pastor Prince has been here nightly also. We want to thank you for your presence with us each evening. Okay. Also want to say thanks, especially to the Treasury Department. They have really been working along with us to make this happen. We're living in trying times. Traveling is expensive, but God is good. Amen. So thank you, Treasury Department. Also, my secretary, Sister Shania Smith, for all of her hard work, and Sister Talia Adams for assisting in booking all of the flights. The SLC Tech team, Pastor Harris, Brother Blaine, they've come out here every evening to ensure that we could have this online. We also want to thank Vengeance Patience Hughes, Yoel Williams, and Michelle Parker from Jennings, who assisted with the tech team, or Ori Joseph and the entire team from the St. John Seventh-day Adventist Church. We want to say thank you. And of course, the Pastor Doyle for allowing us to use this facility. Thank you so very much. And then for our program coordinators nightly, we had Loy West from District 1 on the first night, Sister Marvet Joseph on the second night from District 6. She could not be here. She was teaching, but she ensured that it happened. And tonight, Christine Steele, thank you for the team from District number 3. Let's put our hands together for them, everybody. And for all of the actors and the volunteers, Brother Joseph and Pastor Kay and Sister Siobhan. Well, yeah. Thank you so very much. And Sister Shireen and myself, thank you. Thank us. Thank you so much for really just playing the roles. And it has really been so very exciting. Well, we want to take the opportunity now to say a very special thank you. Sister Shireen, come please. Thank you, my dear wife. We want to say a very special thank you tonight to two persons. Of course, without them tonight could not have been possible. I'm going to say thank you to the first person, and Shireen will say thank you to the second person. And we want to say thank you particularly tonight to Dr. Siobhan Bell. Let's put our hands together for her, who did a fantastic job on Sunday evening in presenting the various parenting styles. And she used her pediatric expertise to bring it over in such a powerful way. We are exceptionally thankful to her, and we just want her to get those notes of thanks from us. And so, Sister Bell, Grandmother Bell, Sister B, we're going to invite you to come and accept on her behalf tonight. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you, and please let her know that for us. And Shireen is going to do the other one, but I just want to, before she does it, I want to leave a statement with you that I think has been, for me, the most impactful statement of the 3 evenings so far. And it was this statement: when the child exhibits a power play, it's not the child's fault, it's the parent's fault. They missed the cue. That, for me, was exceptionally powerful. And we just want to say thanks. Shireen?
Judy, I am honored tonight to say thank you to my big sister, my friend, and my mentor. We have shared some wonderful years together over the years, and I've learned quite a lot from you as well. Although we only had you for 2 nights, they have been 2 impeccable nights. There were so many takeaways, and the sessions have really caused us to do some introspection. I'm quite sure that each parent here tonight is wondering, what could we have done differently with our children? We are all guilty of doing wrong by them in one way or another. Isn't that so, parents? And as my husband would say, if you can't say amen, say ouch. Some of us are fortunate to still have young ones to nurture and mold, but the rest of us have to look forward to the grandkids to make a difference. We are appreciative of your time and the wealth of information that you have shared with us. And although Antigua is your home, we say thanks for coming. And please thank Tom also for sharing you with us. May God continue to bless you, your work, your ministry, and we love you.
You've got to say something. Go ahead, say something.
I have to say one more thing. I promised my husband I was going to say this, and I forgot. Tom said, don't forget to tell them that if the child can't jump on the couch at home, don't let them jump at the couch at Auntie's house. It's the same discipline strategy. Consistency everywhere. When you all see him, tell him I said it. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Judy. Well, we've come to the end of our sessions in Antigua, but as I mentioned, we continue tomorrow evening, so please be sure to log on. St. Kitts, Nevis, well, St. Kitts, we're coming. We're on our way over tomorrow, and we will be with you there at Molyneux. We invite the Josiahs now. They're going to close us up with the last few items. But before they come, I am going to invite Dr. Green to just come and say a few words for us, Doc, please. Just a note of a thought or thank you as you bring us to an end, and then the Josiahs will do those closing exercises. Thank you so very much.
Good night to everybody. It's late. I would like to just say that the South Leeward Conference is very aware of the challenges of parenting. And as I often say, it's a privilege to be a Seventh Adventist because we seek to provide our members with the material that they would have to pay so much money for elsewhere for free. Pastor Bradford gave his takeaway, but mine probably is. I can't quite figure it which one, but mine probably is what you said last night. I know you didn't see me last night, but that's the power of technology, right? Mine probably is the whole concept. I don't want to quote, but my primary responsibility is not to be my children's friend, but to be their parent, right? So I felt that was really powerful. And I wish you God's blessing as you continue to do great work. And for all those who are listening on YouTube, we are grateful to be able to provide this kind of information. We take seriously the matter of building strong families. Dr. Bradford and I are on the radio every week with Marriage Encounter. But we recognize that sometimes, and you know, let me just say this one thing. Well, you gave the pastor the mic, you know. But let me just say this one thing. Because somebody asked a question earlier, and Dr. Martin said that, you know, when you are from a particular family, and then you teach your daughter certain values, and then she goes and she marries somebody else. But here's the thing. In the Seventh Adventist Church, we are always doing evangelism, and we bring whosoever will. You understand? And that means that education is so very important, right? And so the videos are up on YouTube, and I know that you have friends who you know need to hear what transpired here. So please tell them to go on YouTube, on the church channel, and look again and learn, because this is so very important. God bless you. God be with all of you.
We too want to share what we would have learned tonight, some pointers. Punishment is different from discipline. Discipline is systematic training, training from 0 to adulthood. If you discipline, you seldom have to punish. Discipline should include love, trust, and compassion. Fear and trembling in a child means boundaries have been crossed. Fear transforms into anxiety, depression, etc. in adults, and fear is not a God. And eyes on means establishing that connection with your child, being able to read the child's expression and inviting the child to communicate their feelings and also to communicate your concepts. We also would like to join with the Bradfords in thanking Dr. Josiah-Martin for her invaluable tips on how to correctly and effectively discipline our children. May we ever remember them and utilize them in our parenting. We'll now stand and sing 652, Love at Home.
Let us reverently bow our heads. Our Lord and our God, we're indeed thankful to tonight's proceedings. Thank you for blessing Sister Martin with such knowledge. And we pray, O God, that we will not only be faithful hearers, but we will apply the knowledge that was imparted to us so that we can be better parents and better grandparents. Father, as we say to our various homes, we ask for your guidance and your protection. And we thank you in advance for your goodness towards us. In Jesus' name. Good night to one and all. Safe journey home.